Hey, you fitness and nutrition fans, Karen McCoy here. I do apologize for my Zoom room was not working today, and I promised you guys a video on the 8 reasons you're not losing weight in a calorie deficit. So I am now recording this and putting it up for you guys as promised. You know, sometimes there's cyber monsters that just come out and wreak havoc. It must be Mercury retrograde or something. I'm not sure. But anyways, let's go into the 8 reasons you're not losing weight in a calorie deficit. Okay, you guys ready? First of all, I need to ask you this. Do you know what a calorie deficit is? And are you truly in it? So that's probably the most important aspect of this whole thing, is understanding what a calorie deficit is. What I know about most people is that they underestimate how much they're eating and they overestimate how much they're training or moving in a day. And we're going to get into that. But really, it is about understanding where your calories are and being really, really truthful about that. In the link below this video, I've got a link to a YouTube video on a woman from England who was up against the same thing, where she was saying, I'm not understanding why I'm losing weight. Maybe I have the fat gene. It's just I have an extremely slow metabolism. And so they put her through all of these tests and using these different tools. And what they found indeed was that she was almost twice as high in her calorie assumption than she was. And that's a really important factor. And unfortunately, the video kind of stops. They didn't complete the whole video. There's a portion of it that's not showing at the end, but you get the gist of the video, and it shows her logging her food, eating her food, and then it shows the tools that you use to truly measure the calories going in. And it's very, very interesting. So what I would say to people is know your caloric value, first of all. You need to know how much you're eating. And when women say, oh, I just don't want to count calories. Okay. Do you know how much money you have in the bank before you go spend? It's the same thing, right? We got to adult up here. We have to be responsible and be really truthful about it, because I find that most people don't log everything, or they log incorrectly. For example, you have to look at the can of tuna to see that 120 calories is not the whole can. Indeed, it's a third of a can. So labels are very deceiving, and they purposely do that to keep them looking smaller. So you really have to do your homework. Once you learn this stuff, it's really easy to manage and you can do it. But I always have my girls calculate their calories, because it's like money in the bank. I want them to know what they're eating. This goes for weekends too, guys. It is not just your Monday to Fridays, because usually what I find, most women are still working, they're busy during the day, and then they'll have a meal at night. And then they'll have snacks and stuff afterwards. But then the weekends hit. Friday to Sunday, you can undo a lot of stuff. So what I often do is have them add up 7 days and divide by 7. And that gives you more of an understanding. There's this whole new thing out there that I don't like. When I saw it coming down the pipe, I went, uh-oh, it's going to be misinterpreted. It's going to be used the wrong way. And that is basically saying, oh, I only eat once a day or twice a day. I'm not eating enough food, so my metabolism is tanked. 95% of the women it doesn't apply to. In my coaching experience, generally it's because you're just eating too much. And we really, really have to get clear with that. So this is where we have to start tracking our eating and getting really clear and really honest about where our caloric load is. So that is the first thing before we go into the 8 reasons. Reason number 1, what are your portions? Portions are really, really key. Your portions define everything, and I find most people overportion. The way it was years ago, it's different than it is now. We're supersizing. Our eyesight has changed. Our glasses have changed. What we're wearing when we're eating. We really have to understand portions. I haven't gone back for seconds in probably 35 years. There's no reason to go back for seconds, or tasting as you make, or tasting a little bit afterwards. Portion control is really, really key. And what I often do is have my clients send me pictures of what they're eating, because I want to see what their portions are. And their portions are usually the things that are out of whack. If you're still hungry, then you need to look at other factors. How did you eat the 3 or 4 hours before? And if you didn't eat for 10 hours, then yeah, you're going to be hungry, but it's too much for your body to take in all at once if you overportion. So Having defined eating times throughout the day is super, super key. So portions, you've got to look at your portions, guys. And no going back for seconds. Number 2, activity level. Never mind what the formulas say. You're probably not using the amount of activity that you think you are. I train pretty hard every day, 5 to 6 days a week, but I am still under normal. And the reason for that is because I sit for my job. Yeah, I get up and I move around. Yeah, I get up and take the dogs for a walk. It is still not average or above average momentum, even though I'm training in the gym. So you guys really have to look at that. And when they're looking at formulas, underestimate your activity level if that's something that you're using to try to understand why you're not losing weight, okay? Number 3, lack of patience. Oh my gosh. You didn't get here overnight. It's not going to go away in a few weeks. I had one girl who decided, okay, that's it. I'm cutting out wine. I don't want wine. In 2 weeks, she said, I haven't lost a pound. Okay. Why don't you give it 2 months? Why don't you give it 6 months? Why don't you look at other variables instead of just that glass of wine? So it's really important that we practice patience because you didn't get here overnight, and it's easier to eat the food than it is to lose the calories. That is just a metabolic process, and patience is required in order for things to change. And it's not going to happen in 2 weeks. It might not even happen in a month. So patience is something that you're just going to have to learn as you grow into this new process to understand where the calories are or where they're not coming from. Number 4, metabolic adaptation, aka plateau. Yeah, we hate that word, but you know what, guys? It's not an evil. So when we think we're in a calorie deficit, okay, let's say we are. The reason the plateau comes in is because it's just taking a breath, okay? You've lost some weight, it's just taking a breath. It's taking a breath because you're asking your body to reset and live at a different body fat level, right? So the body is not going to keep, nothing happens in a linear environment. Nothing happens in a straight line. Let's face it. So you're going to lose and you're going to plateau. You're going to lose and you're going to plateau. When you're in a plateau, you could very well be in a calorie deficit, but your body's going, this is too much. I'm going to hang out here for a while and just get used to this new place. Take a breath. If you start digging in and cutting even more calories, what happens is you're digging that plateau in and it's going to be longer. And then your body's going to start giving up muscle instead of body fat because you're pushing too hard. So we usually say anywhere from 10 to 20% below your current calories. Know where your calories are and stay there for a few weeks. If you plateau, give it a week or two. And which leads us to the next point. Don't change too many variables. What happens when we're in a calorie loss, and if we're in a deficit and we think we're lower than we should be and it's not working, we change a whole bunch of things, right? We add in cardio, we cut more calories, we take away dairy or fruit or whatever the demonized food of the day is, and there's so many of them. I eat all food groups. I don't buy into cutting out any food group, and that's something that you guys should really take heed with, unless you have something like celiac or something that's happening for sure. But you really have to understand that when you start changing too many variables, you're never going to know what works. But the other thing is your body gets confused. And all of a sudden, it's like dog at a training school. And this owner over here is telling the dog something. And then all these other people come in and go, no, do this, no, do this, no, do this, no, do this. And you don't know who to listen to. And before you know it, you've got an anxious animal. That is what happens to your body. It's like, okay, too many things going on at once here. I can't understand what she's doing. She's going to hurt me. And boom, the door shuts. No more fat loss. No more weight loss. And if there is weight to be lost, it's going to start taking it from your muscles. You don't want it to take from your muscles. And you will have some bone loss too. Ladies, you'll have some bone loss. So do not cut more calories when you're in a deficit. Let that plateau stay for a while. And then if something doesn't work, change one variable at a time. You might want to add in 20 minutes of cardio, or you might want to look at your food, get really honest and go, okay, I don't need that bonbon every second day. I'll take that out. change just one variable at a time, because you're going to make it so that it's safe for your body to go, okay, I trust her, I'm going to lose a bit more, and you're also going to know what works. So metabolic adaptation is necessary in order for your body to take a breath, but you've got to allow it that. If you continue to hammer it, it's going to shut down. Number 5 is, as you lose weight, your calorie consumption will go down. And that's the way it is. You now have a smaller engine. So this is also true for women, smaller women like me. I'm 5'2". I don't get to eat as much as my 5'6" counterparts. So you can't compare the two. She's probably going to eat 18 to 2,000 calories. I'm anywhere from 12 to 1,500. That's it. So the smaller you are, the less calories, because you're a smaller person. As you lose weight, you're going to be a smaller person too. So you have to adjust your calories. So when you are a larger person with extra body fat, you were maybe 3,000 to 5,000 calories a day even. Now you got to cut it back. You're anywhere from 12 to 2,000 probably, depending on your height, depending on your structure, that kind of stuff. So the smaller the body, now you have to adjust your calories for the new you. And you're going to continue to do that as you go. Number 6, macros. Know your macros. And I'm not saying live by macros, and please don't pull out your app when you're sitting beside me at the dinner table. I don't want to see. It's causing too much OCD. It's causing eating disorders among women. It is taking the fun out of eating, and it's not letting you come to know your body cues and listening to self. So a lot of apps are helpful because they help to give you a language and an understanding of proteins and carbs and fats, and it can be a good starting place. It's a nice starting place to say anywhere from 10 to 30% protein, anywhere from 20 to 40% carbs, anywhere from 10 to 30% fat. And I will often put those numbers in with a new client. And the reason for that is because everybody needs a map, a place to start from. And then from there, you can alter it. But if you're like 22% protein or 24% protein, don't get caught in the numbers. That's insanity. And your body doesn't live or operate that way. But macros are really important because you come to know the value of food. You come to know a quality protein. You come to know carbs, and we do not demonize carbs. Yes, we need our starchy carbs. You will not lose weight. You will not have strong digestion. You will not have strong hormones. You will not have a fully functioning biochemistry. And you will not build lean muscle, shapely muscle, without carbohydrates. People say, I'm low carb. Okay, what is that? Well, I don't know. I cut out bread. That's not low carb, right? How many carbs are you eating? Well, I don't know. Well, why don't you measure when you're taking your calories in and assessing what your calories are? Then you can see what your carbs are. When most people go low carb, they're saying, I'm cutting out the nasties. Why don't we call it cutting out the nasties? Because carbohydrates, yams, potato, yes, I eat white potatoes too, and white rice, oatmeal, couscous, quinoa, ancient grains, lovely. And when I stop eating those, my weight loss stops. So you still have to manage them and know where you are, but most people who say they're low carb are average carb, and they just cut out the nasty stuff. So be careful of your languaging, and you cannot spare protein without carbs. So if you don't have carbs in your system, your body's going to chew up protein for energy, right? Guess where that is? Your muscles. Guess what your muscles are? Your metabolism. So when women age, they're often saying, my metabolism just shut down. No, it didn't. It's because you've been training your body all along the way that carbs are evil, and you keep cutting, and the body learns in time, she's not giving me the carbs, so I got to take it from my protein stores, man. Not only that, but you have hormonal changes happening from the age 35 on, and unless you keep weight training and your carbs in there, then your body is going to take that muscle in its place. And your muscle is your metabolism. Within every cell in a protein, there is like 4,000 processes happening. It's very energetically and metabolically hot. Fat is pretty well devoid. It just kind of lays there, right? There's not a lot going on in the fat cells. But muscle is metabolically active, thermogenesis, right? So we need to keep the muscle on the body. If you're not eating your carbohydrates, and if you're not weight training to keep the muscle on, if you're over cardioing, where you're cardioing and not doing weights, your body is going to learn to spare the carbohydrates, spare the glycogen in your body, and take the protein, take away your muscle. So it's really, really important. If anything, you're going to keep your protein steady at anywhere from 80 to 150 grams a day. And you're going to alternate carbs and fats. You're going to look at those. One might be higher for a bit, and then fats might be higher for a bit, and then carbs might be higher. You can always manipulate those to find your place. This is where a good coach is invaluable, because they can look at that and assess it, and they keep you on target. You are not going to know what works, and you're not going to lose the fat if you keep jumping all over the place. So to have a good coach that you can throw stuff off of and they keep you on track for a set amount of time until those changes can occur is really, really key. Got it? So know your macros, don't get crazy about them, but know that you need quality protein, you need your carbs, and of course you need your healthy fats. What else we got? Changing too many variables. I talked about that one. I slipped that one in early. Know this too, ladies, that antidepressants and, of course, hormone birth control pills will alter your fat on your body. So it's really important that you understand. They don't even know. They know with birth control pills what happens. You have excess estrogen generally, but depending on the formula. But when it comes to antidepressants, there is something that it changes in the brain, because that's why you want them. It changes the chemicals in the brain, but it also changes your body's ability, in some women, not all, to lose fat. So some women will actually gain weight, and some women will have a resistance to fat loss because of the antidepressants. And that is just the nature of the beast. So it's really careful. It's really important that you're careful with, and you understand, and that it's something that might be, you need to look at, maybe talk to your doctor about if there's another alternative. So those are factors that we need to factor in. Finally, for number 9, which I wasn't planning on, but number 9 is try cycling your calories. So what I mean by that is don't stay with the same old if you're eating 1,200 calories, if you're eating 1,500 calories. Recognize that your calories are supposed to change, but you got to kind of know your limit, play within it, right? Like BC Lotto. It's kind of knowing where you are. I'm anywhere from 1,200 to 1,500 calories. I used to be 1,500 to 1,800 calories, but now at my age of 57, and I'm sitting more as my business grows. Yeah, I'm still training just as hard in the gym. I'm still walking my dogs. It's not enough. It's not enough because I'm not running around the gym anymore, or I'm not in hospitality where I was running 8 hours a day. And so I kind of went, I don't understand why I'm not losing fat. And it was a really great coach that I had years ago that said, you're not in calorie deficit. And I'm like, what do you mean? I'm like 1,300 calories. You're not in calorie deficit. Everything else was right. My eating was right. My water consumption was right. My training was right. My hormones are level. And when I started adjusting my calories due to my less activity, which I didn't factor in because this stuff happens slowly over time. Your lifestyle changes slowly over time, and you really got to take a look at and assess. So if I'm low activity, then you guys might be low activity as well. So please look at that and know that your calorie changes will alter with age and with activity level. So at my age, I've had to bring it down about 300 calories a day, but I don't live within that parameter. I live anywhere from 12 to 15, and I'm back and forth. I manage it around my training, because if I have a big training day, then I intuitively know that I need more food because my body's like, right? And one of my biggest meals is post-training. I don't do a lot of shakes. I want to eat my food. That also helps with digestion, and it also helps with metabolism because your body has to digest the food. People that drink a lot of their calories or they're doing a lot of shakes, unless they're pre-contest, they often have challenges with digestion when they try to bring in whole food, and usually it's carbs that are demonized again. Or they're not able to lose the weight because your body doesn't really have to do anything with liquid. It just kind of opens up and goes, come on in, okay, swim around, let's go. With food, everything has to come to the front stage, and it has to chew it up, digest it, and assimilate it, right? So whole foods are where you want to be. So the reasons that you're not losing fat as opposed to weight, remember this is about fat loss. I highly recommend you guys get a fat loss machine. The Omron 360 is what I use. You can get it online, you can get it anywhere. But the Omron is easy and it's fast and it's only like $35 and it's portable. There's a lot of other scales for fat loss. Whatever you use, stay consistent with the same one. And don't change around, because all you want to see, it doesn't matter if you're 15 or 18 or 25 or 27%, stay with that number and use the same measuring tool, because you want to see it go down. It is not about weight, it's about fat. And when we start losing weight, if we're not doing it properly, following these 8 points, then we're going to be losing muscle. And we don't want to do that, because that will lower our metabolism so much that we think we're in calorie deficit. But what happens is we're in a metabolic deficit. So you have to get your metabolism strong. We have a saying in coaching, you have to feed your metabolism for it to be healthy. And women unfortunately go the other way and they draw back. So ask yourself, am I truly in calorie deficit? Know your caloric load, guys. Where are you? Be honest, and it might be different Tuesday night than it is Saturday night. Take note, okay? Number 2, portions. Manage your portions. Really? Do you really need that much? Look at what other people who are lean, how they eat. They probably eat smaller and a little bit more often. I eat 4 to 5 times a day. My meals are like that big, but it's enough for me. And when I look at what other people are eating, I'm like, oh my God, I ate like that 40 years ago. That's how we used to eat. So please look at it and go, you don't have to stick to tradition. You can do whatever you want. I always say the healthiest lean people are the ones that cook and eat their own food, and they eat on the periphery, meaning they do not buy into convention. I have tuna for breakfast. I have eggs for dinner. It's all over the map for me. It doesn't really matter. I just love food, and I don't care what other people prescribe to. I just eat the way my body likes, and it works super well for me. Intuitive eating is really, really important as well, where you can feel, okay, I'm satiated, but I'm not full. So when you're satiated, you're satisfied. It's like, leave it. Don't dig in anymore. Leave it. What I teach in my metabolism course is you should be eating every 3 to 4 hours and having them spread out same time of day, 4 to 5 meals a day. Or some people might call them snacks. Some people look at my meals and go, well, that's kind of a snack. Okay, whatever. But your body loves consistency. That is the most important thing you guys need to understand, is the body loves consistency, because when it has consistency, it works really well, and it comes to trust you. And it comes to trust that you're not going to hurt it with stupid calorie reductions or with stupid cleanses or with a binging and purging, and it's got the same old, same old, same old. It's like a good parent. A good parent is consistent. The child knows. He feels trusted. He feels confident. That is what you need to teach your body too. Watch your activity level. You're probably overestimating how much you move, guys. Okay, so I would underestimate. I don't even look at formulas, but if you do look at formulas, underestimate your activity level, no matter how hard you train in the gym, no matter how many times you're getting up to go to the water cooler, right? Lack of patience. Be patient, guys. This is a lifestyle. It's going to take you time. Your body has to go through a metabolic adaptation too. When you change a food or when you incorporate a new eating strategy, it takes 5 to 7 days for your body to come to terms with it. So you might feel a little bit hungry if you're looking at your portions and going, I got to bring it down. You might feel a little bit hungry, but give it 7 days, because your body has to adapt. It is flesh and blood. It's hormones and it's biochemistry in the making here, guys. So everything takes time. It takes time. Just think about when you hurt yourself and how long it takes to heal. There's a process. Your body follows that process too. So the metabolic adaptation when it comes to hunger and managing that, give it 7 days until it settles in and goes, okay, I can get used to this. Changing too many variables, you're never going to know what works, and you shock your body into a possible plateau. So be careful with that. As you lose weight, your calories will go down. And if you're a smaller person, your calories are lesser than your 5'8" counterpart. Okay? It's always going to be lesser than men. ladies, by the way. Stop going, oh, my husband's so lucky he gets to. No, he's got more muscle. He's got more testosterone. He naturally has a higher metabolism. That's called genetics. So don't look to compare yourself with your hubby. He's probably not eating as healthy as you anyways. Just leave that alone and accept that as fact. It's just the way it is. Metabolic adaptation is the plateau. It's taking a breath. Allow that process to happen. Do not push it. Be honest with yourself. If you've done everything right and it's still not moving, change one variable. Just one. Know your macros. Understand the value of them. You're going to build a very different body on 1,200 calories of peanut butter versus 1,200 calories of lean protein, quality carbs, and healthy fats. It's just the way it is. Your cells are like innocent bystanders to what you're giving them. Their body can only do so much with what you're giving it. So give your body healthy foods, whole foods rock, and then your body can really ramp up and do what it's supposed to do. Keep you healthy and create a strong metabolism. And know that some antidepressants and birth control pills can alter your fat in your body because it alters the neurotransmitters in the brain. They don't exactly know how it works, but it is a well-known fact. So that might be something you might want to look at. And cycle your calories. Do not stay with the same calories because your body gets lazy and it goes, oh, same calories again. Okay, what is she doing? When you keep it off guard a little bit, just like with your training, change up your training every 6 to 8 weeks. When you keep it off guard a little bit, it keeps it awake. It keeps it awake. It's like it pokes it, right? It pokes it. Okay, I was at 1,200 calories for 3 days. Now I'm up to 15. It's okay. I had a big leg day. I can eat 1,500 calories. It keeps your metabolism strong when it's not the same old, same old, same old. It's kind of like somebody who is lecturing and they drone on. Okay, kind of like what I'm doing now. And they drone on and you're like, okay. Because the tone never changes. That's what happens when you stay with the same calories. So people that are OCD, black and white, measuring everything, they're usually the ones that are challenged with fat loss because they want to stick to the numbers. We don't eat numbers, guys. Okay? Put away the app. Put away the formulas. Put away the numbers. Come to know you. Find a plan. Stick with it for a few weeks. See what's working. Whole foods rock. Whole foods. Protein bar is not a whole food. I don't care how many great ingredients are in there, guys, and there are great ingredients. They pull everything apart from all the parts, and then they stuff it together and try to make a healthy food out of it. Your body doesn't recognize it. It's not a whole food anymore. It's like pulling off your arms and your legs and trying to stick them back on your body and say, okay, now operate. It doesn't work that way. Whole foods as Mother Nature intended. If you can't pick it or pluck it, hunt it or fish it, it's not a whole food. Doesn't mean we don't go off the grade once in a while, but I would say stick to the 90-10 rule, not the 80-20, because by the time you stick to the 80% healthy, 20% fun food, it slides to 70-30 or even 60-40. And then you're no further ahead than before. I'm actually 95-5, and then I might have an extra glass of wine on the weekend, and it works out to like 90-10 because there might be a little brownie in there for me too. So that keeps me on track. And I say to most people, do the 90-10 rule, but you got to know what the healthy foods are for 90. And the 10 is not a little nibble every day, because then it's not once in a while, it becomes a lifestyle. And those are the things that cause a slippery slope where we look at it and go, it's okay. Well, is it okay? And it's okay to have a treat. It's okay to enjoy, but you have to ask yourself, is everything else in line so that you can have that treat and then it is just a singular treat? Or has it slid back into a lifestyle again? So I hope that helps you guys. Again, click on the link below for that little video on the British actress who was pretty surprised at the amount of calories that she truly was eating, thinking that she was doing it all right. She does not have a slow metabolism. Very few people have a slow metabolism. Things can change it, aging and hormones, but again, those can be counteracted with a weight training program and with proper eating and being consistent in your meal structure and your portions and your timing. And then everything else works well. But most people are pulled away from that, where they don't eat all day and then they eat at night and they think, I'm only eating once. Yeah, but you haven't eaten all day and your metabolism's like, I'm hungry, where's the food? Okay, I'm gonna go to sleep now because you're not feeding me. And then you throw all this food and it goes, whoa, that's way too much. Hang on, I'll take this over here, but the rest I got to shuttle off for later because I can't manage it all at once. So when you eat and how you eat is really, really important. For me, I front load. I front load my breakfast and my lunch are my two biggest meals. And then I'll have another meal. I might have a little snack, which is apple with a bit of almond butter. And then I'll have a very small dinner. So I turn it around this way. Most people eat this way, right? So they eat small and get bigger with time. I'm this way because I don't want to go to bed full, but it's also a great weight loss tool for me and keeps me lean, and I enjoy it. I don't want to be full when I go to bed. I will have a protein and I'll have some fibrous carbs, and people go, oh, you're low carb. No, I'm not. I just don't want the heavies in my system. I've had them all during the day. I have a big oatmeal breakfast. I have a big chicken and rice or potato, whatever it happens to be. I'll have something after my training. I'll feel it out. Do I need a snack? I don't think so. I'm not going to snack for snacking's sake. It gets in the way of healthy metabolism. You are supposed to feel hungry in between your meals. When we try to dull it all the time, and we're doing that with our kids now. What's wrong with being hungry? For heaven's sake. When you dull it all the time, your metabolism doesn't work. The hunger cues don't work. And you're just stuffing food in at every time you think you're hungry, or if you're not hungry. And if you're not hungry and you're stuffing food in, it's not going to raise that metabolism. That's another myth, guys. So the myth of you're probably under eating, that's why your metabolism is slowed, is not true for the majority of women. And you've got to eat more often to boost your metabolism is not true. It generally leads to overeating, over-calorie consumption, and it keeps you fixated on food when you're supposed to not be fixated on food. You're supposed to eat it and it's done. And then you wait 3 to 4 hours. Eat it and it's done. And you're not supposed to be fixated on food. And that's part of the problem where people are always constantly thinking about it. It's not healthy. It's not healthy. You're supposed to live life, and food is enjoyed at the moment, and then you have to let it go. So be careful with the snacking, guys. It doesn't always boost your metabolism, but science has shown if you're eating 3 to 5 times a day, your metabolism is slightly stronger. They have looked at people who eat 6, 7, 8 times a day. Doesn't change anything. So you don't have to be a grazer if you don't choose to, but if you can eat at least 3 meals, if you want to go to 4 to 5, that seems best. Most women under 125 pounds eat 3 to 4 times a day. For women that are higher than that, bigger women, bigger bone, taller, they can eat 4 to 5 times a day. So keep those parameters in mind too. Find your place where it works. Don't change it. Let's just see where it works for you. And then you're going to find your eating lifestyle for life. It's time to get real. It's time to be honest. It's time to do the work. It doesn't take much. Once you do it and you start doing it and learning how to do it, it becomes second nature. And that's the beauty of living like a lifestyle athlete, a lifestyle nutritional eater, is it just becomes habit. You don't have to think about it. And you don't ever have to worry about how many calories. Am I getting enough? Am I going to store as fat? Once your body finds a place, stay there. It loves the consistency of what you're offering. Okay, you guys, lots of love. Go have something healthy to eat. Okay, ciao, bye.